Chattisfying.
Hello, Motherfunsters, and welcome to episode 1 of Chattisfying. Nice new sort of podcast for you by us. So, what was it we were saying? It's made by streamers and content creators about streaming and content creating for streamers and content creators. My name is Mellar21, and today I am joined by my amazing co-host Hippo.
Yeah, hello, yeah, it's me. I'm Hippo. Yeah.
Hello.
And I'm hairy.
You are pretty hairy. I can confirm. What? And our amazing guest today, I'm so excited, is Navelow.
Hello.
I have to say, it's
gorgeous.
a proper honour, to be fair, because I didn't know about you until Mellar told me about you, and I was like, I've got to have a little bit of a secret spy mission there and have a look. And I got to say, right, you are fucking awesome. I've watched your stuff. You seem to kill people really well, so I know you're going to help me out with my ex-missus, so that's fine.
Okay.
I can hire you out for that one. But, like, you've got a YouTube channel with over 20k subscribers. You've got 8.5k subscribers on Twitch. You're absolutely mentally good. I mean, it's a proper honour to have you on. It really is, especially as the first guest. So thank you so much for taking your time.
Literally.
Appreciate you having me.
I was bigging Navelow up to Hippo earlier on his stream, saying, "Oh mate, his maximum viewers he's ever had was what was it, 1,800? You said last night?
I think it was like 1,400, 1,500, somewhere around there.
That is incredible. That is absolutely insane, dude.
I mean, to be fair, you didn't even have to have those numbers. Just looking at your headphones alone, they seem to shine a different color every few seconds. I'm trying to be focused to this stream, and I'm just looking at it going, shiny.
They're bigger than your head.
They are huge. They are. I'm looking to get a new pair, but yeah, they are massive.
Dude, those things better do some other stuff other than just making you hear things.
Oh, they keep me entertained at night. You know, I just look at them. They're cool lights.
Oh, amazing. So just before we begin, I guess as this is essentially the first proper episode, I should really introduce the whole kind of thing. So Chattisfying is a podcast. It's mostly about streaming, content creating. It's mainly aimed at sort of quote unquote small streamers. I've done a very similar podcast to this before. There's 3 segments. The segment 1 will be all about our guest. Segment 2 is like a hot topic that we can all of us talk about, something that maybe we might disagree on, so we can have like a proper debate. Today's topic is seasonal content, which isn't just to mean like Halloween streams and Christmas themed stuff. It also means for some people maybe only streaming at certain times of the year as well, when it's most beneficial for them, that kind of thing. We'll get into that a little bit later. And then the third segment, the last bit that we'll do towards the end, is a sub game called Follow, Sub or Dip, where we watch 9 clips from 3 different streamers that we've never heard of before. And we decide which of the 3 streamers we would sub to, which we would follow, and which we would dip, just leave. It's completely hypothetical. We won't actually be performing the actions. It's just a bit of fun. We're essentially judging the streamers, but only on the basis of the short clips that we're watching. Not on any sort of extra stuff like how many followers they might have, or what their panels look like, for example, unless they're literally visible in the clip. That's really it. Everything that I really wanted to say. You can join the debate, obviously, on Twitch, because we are live on Twitch. But you can also join the Discord. On the Discord, you can get updates on when it's going to go live next, who the next guest is going to be. But also when this all goes up on YouTube. I will be putting this up on YouTube. The full episode, slightly edited down, but then also highlights as well, which I'm sure there's going to be lots of today. And that's really everything. The only other thing that's worth noting is I have actually interviewed Nave before on Bitrated, which was the old podcast that I used to do. There's the link to all of those. I think Navelow's episode like 11 or 12 or something. Definitely go and check that out, because I'll be referring back to that in today's one as well, in today's interview. I cannot wait. So, are we ready to rumble?
Indeed.
Always.
Absolutely.
I'm a rumbler.
Let's get into it then. So we'll start, as always, with our amazing guests. So, Nave, tell us a little bit about your stream. Tell us all things about the Navelow Nation.
Well, I obviously stream on Twitch at Navelow. That's just my handle. I basically just stream a lot of FPS games. I've mainly only been focusing on Apex Legends. I used to play games like Fortnite when that was popular, PUBG a little bit when that was also popular, Blackout. So I'm definitely a BR person, H1Z1. I kind of caught that near the end of its life cycle, so I didn't really play it in its prime days. But I've definitely been a BR guy, and before that, before switching over to PC, I played console for years. So I played a lot of Call of Duty, and I've just always been an FPS oriented type of person. So I've kind of like honed in on Apex Legends. It's really weird because Apex blew up out of nowhere. Respawn Entertainment kind of just released the game just without any word, without any, the game's gonna be coming out in 10 days, it's gonna come out, next month. They just released it and said, everybody have fun with it. Blew up. It went really well for the first like 2 seasons or so. Season 3, it went well as well. And season 4, it started declining a little bit. And then COVID hit, which actually stopped a major happening, which was a LAN event in Dallas, in the US. So it really halted the whole competitive scene, which was highly on the rise. And me and my buddies were all going to get a place, go to it. We had the place booked and everything, and it just kind of got canceled within like 5 days of it actually like happening. So some of the players actually flew out to Dallas just because they didn't have any word from Respawn Entertainment saying like, hey, our events could be canceled, don't come. So it really halted that. And then it's kind of been back on the rise now. Prize pools have been going up. There's a lot more tournaments happening. So Apex is definitely back on the rise, but it's a nice community that I know quite a few people in, and it's just a nice little home. So that's kind of where I've been sticking. So I stream that on Twitch. I also make a lot of YouTube content on it. I also run like a Apex Legends oriented kind of podcast where I just invite some of the biggest names onto the podcast to talk about different things. I make videos for people who are big named in the community. Like, say if XQC still played Overwatch, I would make a video called How XQC Really Plays Overwatch, and it would kind of be meme oriented, funny clips. I would have a montage in it. So I just kind of make a bunch of different diverse content, but it's all kind of like directed towards the Apex community with itself.
Oh, fair play. I like that. So you got to say that like the Apex is where you're hooked at the moment. Then there's no other like the Escape from Tarkov thing or anything like that. It's pretty much you are Apex boy right now.
It is 100%. It's sad because I really want to play other games, but Apex just has this thing. It's indescribable, but every gamer knows it. It's that one game that you fell in love with, and that game does not compare to anything else you play. Yeah. And for me, Apex, like the movement in it is just phenomenal. It's the best game that has it's the best movement game that I've ever played. I've tried playing Warzone, but it's just so clunky and it's just so the movement's just not as slick and smooth. You can do a bunch of wall jumps, you can like jump pad off something, you can grapple off something. There's just a lot of different movement techs that you can do, and obviously at the end of the day, like to be able to kill somebody and to win a game, you have to shoot straight, right, with your gun. But there's so many different aspects to the game that a lot of people overlook that you can really hone in on, and like, how do I say it? Like, you could be so unbelievably good at like having good movement that you're unkillable in a sense.
It's so that fluid then.
Yeah, there's just so many different aspects to the game that doesn't make it just a shooter, but it makes you it's like a sandbox, but in a BR form. There's so many things that you can do, but at the end of the day, it's still a shooter, and I just love the format of it.
No, fair play. I mean, it's a game that I've seen a lot of people play, but I've never. I mean, the last proper like shooter I played was probably like Bad Company 2 because I'm that old. you know, when it originally came out and stuff. And
Yeah.
and I loved it. That was a great vibe. It was very smooth to play and all that kind of stuff. And I've tried like that Warfare one that came out recently, and I can completely agree. I've had fun with it. It's all right. If you don't take it seriously, it's okay. But yeah, I can see what you mean by it being a little bit clunky and stuff. You feel heavy as a character, and I feel like they put all the because you having all the gadgets and gizmos on, it kind of makes sense. It doesn't feel as smooth as a game should play, because a game should feel slightly unrealistic, in my opinion. That's how
I agree with that.
Superhuman when we're playing games. I've done a couple of. I mean, I was in the H1Z1 days as well, because I did the when it was just like the survival thing, and they had their King of the Hill that got nabbed by PUBG and all that kind of stuff afterwards, and all that kind of stuff. But I was around that scene, and I quite enjoyed that scene. That was kind of a laugh, really. I love that stuff. But I've wanted to try Apex, but there's been a couple of things that I've had issues with. One was like the performance of my PC, but luckily I've upgraded, and it's one of those I've upgraded and I completely forgot to get back to Apex to try it out. And the other thing is that it's been out for a little while now, so I feel like a new player coming into the game would be kind of like shot to shit, essentially.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of experience on that game now. So
yeah, the SPMM is definitely a problem. The skill-based matchmaking is 100% a problem with the game, and a lot of people have like voiced their opinions on it. The ranked kind of aspect to the game is also really, really badly put together and poorly done. It hasn't seen a rework since the day it came out, and there's really nothing that has changed about it. And Respawn is very bad at kind of listening to the community and like implementing those changes quickly and done correctly without messing something else up. The audio in Apex Legends is probably some of the worst audio that I've ever heard in any other game. Okay. And it's just the audio is really bad. The SPM is really bad. Like you said, like a new player coming into it would have a hard time, because like I said, there's so many different things that you can do into the game. So it's not like if you're a good shooter, yeah, you'll do good, don't get me wrong, but there's so many different things in the game that like a new player coming into it will have a difficult time, because like I said, there's just so many different things going on and so many different things that you can do, that's just going to be hard for a new player to be able to focus on doing all those different things at once.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of cool. I'm the kind of guy that likes to go running in, spraying and praying on a DPS character that has no like armor at all. I'm literally just like, yeah, and I'm just like dead on the floor, and then the rest of my team takes the kills.
Spraying and praying.
How I like to. So yeah, I'm a spray and pray kind of guy in every manner,
including in real life, by the way.
Yeah, including real life. Yeah, I did one recently, to be fair. It was like a few hours ago. But no, I like that kind of stuff, and I feel like because Apex is, if I remember right, isn't it a team-based thing as well? Isn't it like 3 people or something?
Yeah, 3 people per team.
So I would be absolutely friggin' useless unless they just say, "Here, bro, just stay back for at least half an hour, and then we'll be with you. All right? Once we've killed everyone, you come out and play." You know, so it's. But I wouldn't want to impose that on my friends. Actually, I would, because I quite enjoy tormenting them. But yeah, it's always been a game that it's fascinating me. I love the whole like tech suit kind of thing going on. It has on the odd occasion, and that kind of. I don't know. It's like if you look at Star Trek, which is really shiny, and Star Wars, which is really like dirty and gritty. It's kind of got the dirty and gritty side of Star Wars in terms of like the scenery and stuff like that. You're on this like barren planet kind of thing, and there's lots of like random outposts. Kind of almost reminds me of like Starship Troopers as well, like these random bits plonked around the place, and you just like killing each other. But I've seen some players just like they're like fucking ziplining in, and it's just that it just seems to set up some iconic moments for Twitch. It's that kind of game. You know, you get those once in a lifetime opportunities when you're coming in just like spraying all the way down and killing everything. And yeah, I like that kind of style. But I think like if I went on it, it would literally just be a kill fest on me, which I'm quite happy with. I'm happy to help others. It's okay, even if they're my enemies. Take your points off of me. It's fine. I'm here to help. You know, but it does look like an epic game. So I completely commend you for sticking it out and like. You know, getting up in the ranks and kicking the shit out of everyone, basically. So that's kind of cool.
I have to say, I think of all of the first-person shooters that I've tried quite a lot of them. I'm shit at all of them. Apex is the one that I kind of enjoyed the most. I really like the movement, as you said, Navelow, in Apex. It feels really fluid. And I love how the game kind of simplified quite a few things that a lot of other, especially BRs, make complicated. Like, I love the fact that I think it might have changed now, but I'm sure when I played it, you could only have teams of 3. And you always, you know, basically the game always starts exactly the same. which I kind of don't feel that some of the other BRs do. They try to start the same, but like you could drop in a certain place and it could be a completely different game, and you can choose where you drop as to how the game goes. I think you probably can do that if you know what you're doing, maybe in Apex, but I didn't feel like it was that way. It felt a lot more balanced, I think is probably the right word. To me, out of all of the sort of first-person shooters I tried, that was the one that I think if I was a gamer, I probably would have got into.
Yeah. Apex is like I said, it's just something like I said, I've gone from BR to BR, so I've kind of played all of them. Realm Royale, like every BR, I more than likely have tried or at least played for like a pretty decent amount.
Yeah.
So I know the difference between like what this BR did well, what that BR did well, what's good about this, what's bad about that. And Apex is just so unbelievably different from everything else that Apex is it. The problem with the BR, right, is that when it comes to esports, you don't want to have any RNG. You always want the better team to be able to beat the other team, right? And that's just how esports are. You want to take out every single component of RNG. And with a BR, that's very hard to do because there's so many RNG things. There's different teams that land on you. There's no set loadout. You can get a really crappy armor. You can have a really bad rotation. There's different zones. There's so many different things that can go wrong within a BR. But Apex takes a lot of that kind of RNG out, like with your armor, right? They introduced this thing called Evo armor, where like you have white Evo armor, blue Evo, purple Evo, and those are all able to be found on the ground, right? And prior to Evo, you just had armor. So your white armor would be 125 health, and no matter how much damage you did in the game, it would still be 125 armor. But now that they introduced Evo armor, what Evo armor is a white shield is basically 75 health or something around that number. It's like 75 health or 20. Man, I play this game for 7 seasons. I still don't know. It's like 25 health. I'll just say 25 health. But if you do a certain amount of damage, it will upgrade itself up to a blue armor. So instead of having 25 health, now you have 50. Yeah. I think I'm not even going to sit here and try and act. I know what I'm talking about. But it basically allows yourself to have better armor if you do more damage. So it enforces fighting. It enforces you shooting at other teams rather than just camping in a bush like how PUBG was when it like kind of first came out. You would sit in the building, hope nobody runs past you, and you would just wait until the end game and try and kill everybody. But Apex is very good at kind of like taking that RNG out. The zones are very easy to read at times. We just kind of went over a zone set that was unreadable. It was very hard to read. So a lot of pro teams just kind of like went with a more fighting style rather than a more like let's rotate early and get zone and have good positioning. So they kind of went with more fighting style. But for the most part, zones are pretty easy to read. So if you're a pro player and you know what zones are, the rotations are pretty free. You know what to do. It just takes a lot of RNG out. So Apex is just a very different BR compared to like PUBG or like Fortnite or something like that.
Okay. Do you do any like other games, like just when you feel like maybe not playing Apex for a bit on stream? Do you do any sort of like, I don't know, like kick back and relax games at all?
Or are you more pigeonholed into that whole like shooter scene and intense gaming kind of thing?
I used to play something like Overwatch. I mean, that's still like necessarily a shooter, but it sucks to say, but Apex really ruined every other game for me. I played over 10 years of Call of Duty, and I can't hop back on the game because it's just not Apex. No game compares to Apex, and it's just sad. I actually cannot have fun on any other game right now.
Wow.
It's good that you found a game that you're like proper into though, because I find that nowadays with so much choice that's out there, it's very difficult to find a game to be like truly comfortable and play for a long time on. There's a lot of
Yeah.
I find a lot of games nowadays are very throwaway society kind of stuff. You know, you play it for a few hours and you fuck it off and
This is
forgot
a
you
guy
even
that plays
played
World
it.
of Warcraft, and he's saying that.
Yeah, no, but I still play World of Warcraft now because it's my go back to game. Like I'll play lots of different things. Like when I first started streaming, Minion Masters was my thing, which was a little like trading card game, but you place them on a battlefield and watch them fight. It was kind of cool. But like then I'd go back to World of Warcraft, and then I'd go on to something else and come back to my World of Warcraft is my staple go back to game that I'm always comfortable in. But like I still play other games and stuff like that on the odd occasion sometimes.
Yeah.
On the very rare occasion, I've really gotten into Heroes of the Storm now that it's completely dead. So, you know, I'm really up with the times.
Yeah, well, I kind of thought maybe that might be how you'd treat Apex, Navelow, is sort of keep going back to it, but play other games. But if Apex is your jam, then Apex is your jam. That's really cool that you've found one game that you're really into. Because I remember last time we did the interview, you had like, what was it, 4 or 5 different VRs that you were sort of playing, and you were trying to give each one roughly equal kind of time, and you were sort of deciding which ones to drop and all that kind of thing. And it was interesting time. So being able to sort of like decide, right, this is my jam now. That's really good. So what's your least favorite game that you've streamed then?
Oh wow. Tales from Borderland. It's like a playthrough game that's kind of like
it's a story time game, isn't it?
Borderlands. Yeah.
It's a Telltale
It's
series thing, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. So my one of my viewers named Speedlabs, he actually gifted it. He gifted the game to me so that I could play it because it's something that he really enjoyed and he wanted to watch me play. So he gifted it to me, and I just played like a couple of episodes on stream, or episodes is like a level. So I just played a couple of those, and I've never ever been a story kind of game driven oriented person. Like the most story thing that I can really get into is Pokemon, and that's that's not even like story driven. But Pokemon is a whole different tier.
It really is.
It's Pokemon, man. If you don't like Pokemon, you're not a gamer, bro. So it's just like, I'm not a story driven guy, and I did have fun playing it at times because it was just like fun to see how he reacted. It was kind of nice to see like what a story oriented game is, because I never really played them. But it was hard for me to even hover over the game when I wasn't streaming. I couldn't play it. I just really couldn't. I was never invested into it, is the best way to say it.
Okay, that's awesome.
I get that.
What about a game that since we've last spoke that you've enjoyed but your community has just not liked and maybe have dipped somewhat?
Overwatch, definitely. I personally don't necessarily play Overwatch all too much anymore, but I still love watching it. I love watching clips of it. I think the game is amazing. I think the esports was pretty decent. It's been on the decline because of a multitude of reasons, but I think the skins are great. I think that the way they do a lot of different things within Overwatch is fantastic and should be implemented into other games like Apex. But it's just not. It was very hard to switch from like Call of Duty hardcore shooter to PUBG hardcore shooter, Fortnite. I'm not gonna say hardcore shooter because that's Fortnite. But it was hard to switch from like a hardcore shooter kind of like viewer base and then switch them over to Overwatch, where it's just like, a mercy left clicking on somebody, and it's not necessarily the same. So it's hard to take a story time viewer base and switch it to a hardcore shooter game, and everybody we all love it. It's very hard to do that. So I started playing Overwatch, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, but my viewer base didn't. So it was just kind of like I'll stream it here and there.
Yeah, I've had similar experiences with that as well, to be fair. Everything dips. The only way I've been able to have anyone retain is just do like a rotation of people coming in to play with me and carry me through it all. Yeah. Because I'm the guy that runs in like a fucking junk rat and just like, okay, you've done it now. I'm done. There we go. Bye-bye. See you later. But no, it's a struggly game. It really is a streaming.
I have to say with Overwatch, I've mentioned this before, but I think it's a great game. But as someone who joins streams primarily for the streamer and not so much for the game they're playing, I hate Overwatch streams. I actually kind of avoid Overwatch streams because Overwatch is such an intense game, and there's no downtime in that game whatsoever, that you can't have a conversation with the streamer if they're playing Overwatch. It is impossible. I have tried multiple times. It's just, it's like it's a struggle uphill. So I normally just don't try, because it's like, well, if they're playing Overwatch, I'm not going to be able to have a conversation with that streamer, so I may as well not bother. I'll go talk to someone else. You know what I mean? Because it involves so much focus all the time. Like in most BRs, especially, I know it's not a BR, but in most sort of first-person shooters, especially BRs, you get a lot of downtime where you can speak to chat. You know, in Apex Legends, for example, you've got the whole time you drop in, and there's times where you're just traveling from one place to another where you can check chat and you can have a chat. But there's no downtime in Overwatch. So the only time that you get is when you die, which I've noticed a lot of Overwatch players don't seem to check chat when they die. I'm guessing because they're probably still thinking over the fight that's just happened. Or between games, which could be like, 15, 20 minutes down the line. So I think it's a great game, but I don't think it's a great game to stream. And that goes across the board for everyone. I've never seen a good Overwatch stream, to be honest. Anyone.
That's a really fair take, because like like I said, when I streamed it, I had that same problem where for one, I'm not necessarily the best at reading chat. I'm still trying to get better at that, but especially during Overwatch times when I streamed it, I had a very, very hard time reading chat and like keeping up with the conversation. Like there would be, I'd get into a fight, the fight would be over, I'd die, and then I would check chat, and then there's 20 new messages. I wouldn't be able to keep up with the conversation. Even if I did read the chat, I couldn't actually be invested into what they were talking about, because I didn't know what they were talking about, because there were so many different things that went on from when I died, or when I started, to when I died. So I can definitely see where you're coming from with that. And that's, I personally don't watch Overwatch streams as well. I kind of just watch the, best of kind of clips of like this week or that week. So I could definitely see where you're coming from with that standpoint.
Yeah.
And I agree with it too.
See, that's probably where I'm going wrong, because I spend too much time looking at the chat. That's probably what I'm doing. That's why I die. It's not because of my skill. It's because of chat. Don't chat.
Maybe it's both.
It's definitely both. It really is.
So, Nave, I want to talk a bit about last time I interviewed you. I looked it up. It was May 19, so it was actually nearly 2 years ago now. Now, in that interview, you said your plan for the next sort of year go ahead. You said you were going to take a year out of uni. You're going to have a part-time job, and you're going to try sort of basically streaming full-time and see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
How did it go?
So I believe we had that conversation while I was still taking classes.
Yeah, I think it was just as you were coming out of it, I think. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah. So I finished that, and I think I'm not good with my months. Either way, I finished that, and then what was it?
Because you said at the time you were just waiting on a rebrand.
Yeah.
That helps you remember.
So I did the rebrand, and was COVID around that time?
No.
Or was that a little bit prior?
No, that was
okay,
way
so that was
before
prior.
COVID, yeah.
Okay, so I took one class, I think it was, during the fall semester, and then winter came around. I had no kind of like classes or anything like that, and I was making just enough money to where if I had a part-time, it would be the same, just as if I were doing streaming. So I just kept doing streaming and whatnot. And then winter came around, spring semester came around, and I was like, you know what, screw it. Let me just do 2 more classes, and I'm basically like halfway done with this degree. So if I want to come back to it, I can, and I'm already halfway done. I just have to do some other classes, right? So I did that, and then I believe that's when COVID came around, is after that kind of spring semester, like just right towards the end. So COVID really, honestly, it kind of saved me, where like if I were to move out prior to that, and then I would get into my own place, and then COVID did happen then, it would just be really messy and it'd be really bad, especially for somebody who just moved out on their first time. So it would just be really hard to be able to do all that. So luckily I just didn't, and I just couldn't, and it just was not the right move. And looking back at it, I'm glad I didn't do it. It just wasn't smart. It was just more of like an impulsive move that I wanted to do. and I'm glad it didn't work out. And around that time, I had a okay-ish following, okay-ish, not really that good, to be honest with you. And that's when I really started honing in on content that I realized that other people want to watch. So moving out at that time and getting a part-time job, I don't even know if I would be able to necessarily support myself even with the roommate. So now that I have a okay following, a decent following, and I'm able to make money from that, if I want to move out now, I definitely could and have the part-time job and do the plan that we talked about a long time ago, and I could do that now. But even now, it's still not necessarily smart. I'm fine at living at home, doing all this and whatnot, and I still go to college. I'm taking classes and whatnot. Not necessarily a full-time student, but still getting my degree done little by little, 2 or 3 classes at a time and whatnot. So I think that's definitely the right move. Is if streaming didn't go right, I would have my degree to be able to fall back on. So it's definitely smarter to do that than to rather just say screw it and just kind of go do your own thing. So I'm currently right now I'm just making content, making enough money from that so I don't have to necessarily get a part-time job, and then also getting my degree at the same time.
Awesome. So how many classes are you doing at the moment? Is it 2?
I just finished 2. Yes, I finished a ENT class, which is like AutoCAD, and then or not, yeah, AutoCAD, and then a math class as well.
Okay, awesome. What's the major?
I'm currently going for electrical engineering, but I want to talk to my counselor to see like the differences between the degrees and what kind of jobs you can get with those. Because electrical engineering, now I've taken some classes that are like honed in on that kind of degree. I'm not necessarily a fan of it. I'm definitely more of a fan of mechanical engineering, which is a lot more fun because electrical engineering is more theoretical, where it's like you can't necessarily see it with your own eyes or like feel it with your own eyes. Obviously you can see the wires, but you can't see what's going in on the wires.
Yeah.
So with mechanical engineering, I like it because you could see all the gears, you could do that. It's just more hands-on and tangible. But after taking this AutoCAD class, I really enjoyed it. Like whenever I had to do homework for the class, I wasn't necessarily like, oh yeah, let's go do my homework. But I wasn't also, oh damn, I have to do my homework kind of thing. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was really fun. I've always really liked interior designing. So designing a house or something like that. My uncle's also a architectural engineer. My whole family's been engineers. My grandfather was, my dad is, my brother is, my uncle is, like completely engineering family.
Awesome.
And I've never really been into engineering because I've never been exposed to architectural engineering. But now that I've taken a class that's kind of like driven more towards that, I really, really enjoyed it.
Awesome. So let's talk a bit more about Twitch. What's your kind of hours that you do on Twitch? What's your schedule at the moment?
So I stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I always start at 6:30 EST, and then kind of go to around 12. If the stream is going well, I'll go over 12. If it's not necessarily going well, or if I need to get something done, I'll end it at 12. But I always try and do that schedule. I've been doing that for the past couple of weeks, and it's been really nice. And if I'm not streaming, I'm more than likely working on a video. I like from the business side of it, it's just smarter for me personally to work on videos on YouTube because that's where I'll make more revenue and that's where I have the larger fan base. So when I'm not streaming, I'll have I'll just be editing or lurking in somebody's stream or doing something that's more productive rather than just streaming X amount of hours and kind of just streaming 12 hours a day and not necessarily creating content where my bigger fan base is. So I normally just stream those days and then just create content on the other days.
I think that's really smart. What's your sort of upload schedule on YouTube, and what kind of content do you put up there?
So every Monday I try and upload a podcast video. So I'll at first upload the podcast itself, and then the next coming Mondays I'll upload like the highlights of I'll have 3 different topics that I go into on the actual podcast, and then those 3 different topics I'll clip it and then just post to the 10-minute highlight video for the following Mondays. Every Wednesday, I post a gameplay video. So whether it's like a really high kill gameplay or something that's really cool or, a new trend or something, I'll post that then. And then on a Friday or Saturday, I'm still trying to decide if I want to post Friday or Saturday. But I will post a video on those 2 days, or depending upon, you get what I'm saying. One of those 2 days. I'll post a video that is more edited, and it's very like the highly really play videos. Those take hours or even days, to be honest with you. It takes around like 50 hours just to be able to complete one of those videos. So the really highly edited videos I'll post on like a Friday or a Saturday, and then that's kind of my upload and stream schedule.
Yeah, that sounds like quite a lot for one person to do.
It is, but I mean, it's just, you got to put in the work. So I'm just trying to do my best part.
Awesome.
So what editing software do you use, by the way?
I currently use Sony Vegas Pro 15, but and I'm just very fluent in that software because I've used it for years. So I'll use that for my main editing. But if it's something very like hard and very, you have to be pixel perfect, I'll use Premiere Pro, just because the Premiere Pro is better than Sony Vegas 1000%, but I'm just not necessarily as fluent and as efficient in it as Sony Vegas. So for the more pixel perfect kind of things that I have to do, or like tracking somebody or masking something out or any kind of green screen or anything like that, I'll use Premiere Pro, and then I'll just export it and then put it into Sony Vegas. But I use Sony Vegas and Premiere Pro.
Gotcha.
Nice. And you mentioned a podcast. What's that about?
It's just very Apex Legends oriented. It's just so for the first episode, for the pilot, I basically just invited my friend Sorkobi on. He just left SOAR, which is a pretty decently sized team. He used to be their talent manager. So we really talked about how and he also creates merch. So we talked about like when a content creator should create merch, what merch is good and what merch is bad, what sets your merch apart from like any other competitor, and where to do it and how to do it. How to join a team, what you should put on your resume if you are looking to join an organization, and what they're looking for, and kind of like how to set yourself apart. And then we also talked about controller versus MNK, because that's a very massive debate within Apex Legends. And he's played on console, he's played on PC, he's played on controller, and he's played on MNK. So he has the full range, and he has all the information. So I kind of asked him about that. So it's just very Apex oriented. And if I were to invite like a pro player onto the show, we would talk more about like the pro scene rather than the content creator side of the whole game. But it's just very Apex oriented. Just anything that I have a question about, or that I think necessarily that people would want to listen to, I would ask them that and just go from there.
Nice.
That's awesome. So talk to us a little bit about these tubs in the background. I know what they are this time. G Fuel.
They are G Fuel.
Are they empty?
They are G Fuel. Most of them are, yeah. I think just 3 of them are not. This one, and this one.
Right.
All the other ones are completely empty. I've just been collecting them for years, for literal years. Like this bottom right-hand corner one is so unbelievably old that it's not even packaged the same way. Using Sneak.
I'm Team Sneak, I'm afraid. Yeah.
I have wanted to try Sneak. I've heard that their stuff is a little bit less powdery whenever you mix it up.
You should try it. It's really nice.
Oh, yeah. Oh, nice.
Wow.
Nice.
And here I am with nothing. I drink water. Hell yeah to the waters. Yeah. And I'm the fattest fucker here. This is ridiculous. I see. This is where I'm at. I'm going to have to fuel it with a bit of Sneak on the side then, I guess.
What's your favorite flavor of G Fuel?
Oh, dude, that's a hard question. Not because I don't know, but because they don't make it anymore. It sucks.
No.
It's peach mango, and I believe that they have something called Sonic Peach Rings, which I've never tried. It sounds similar, but I don't think it would be the exact same, unless they actually just completely rebranded it, But they don't make They don't make peach mango anymore, sadly.
Damn.
I also personally love kiwi strawberry, which they just brought back for the Christmas season. So they kind of made it like an ugly sweater thing. They just completely like stripped the name of it and just slapped on Christmas stuff, which is it's whatever. It's just the same thing. But those are like the kiwi strawberry one is seasonal, so I'm assuming after Christmas you won't be able to get it. Peach mango, I don't even think that's a thing anymore. So if I had to choose what's my favorite flavor that is still available, it would probably be guava, which is weird because I've never heard of guava. I've never tried a guava. I've never seen a guava. It's just something that sounded interesting to me. And I believe it's a South American fruit, and it's very tropical. And I'm a very big tropical fan of anything that's related to that. So I tried guava, and it was absolutely amazing. It's like something that you've never, ever tasted in your life before. And I've heard that like each guava itself, the fruit, or I think it's a fruit. I hope it's a fruit.
It is, yeah.
Each one of them tastes completely different from another one, which is mind blowing to me. It's the same thing, but it just tastes different. So guava is just fantastic, and I'm in love with it.
Amazing. All right, well, pretty much finally, I think I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, because everyone's got to be asking, the sort of glove things that you've got on, Nave, are they for like carpal tunnel, or are they just visual because you like the way they look?
No, I hate the way they look. So it's very, very cold in my basement, and I'm personally from Florida.
Yeah.
So I'm very heat oriented. I love the heat. I don't necessarily love humidity, but everybody hates it, but I don't even mind it. It's nice to me. So I'm very like I'm somebody who loves to wear like a sweatshirt in the summer when it's 90 degrees outside. I'm that kind of guy. So it's like 60, 65-ish degrees in my basement.
Does anybody know that in Celsius?
Cold.
It is cold.
It's cold.
It is cold. It's just very cold in my basement. So I have a heater pointing at my feet. I have some slippers on. I have socks on. I have long pants on. I just can't play with anything long sleeve. It just doesn't work for me. So to kind of like necessarily put a band-aid on the problem, I've kind of got these gloves that kind of just like keep my hands a little bit more warm. And they've actually really helped. Not to mention when I'm kind of like I'm somebody who likes a low sensitivity with their mouse. So I'm on like 400 DPI, which is crazy slow, and it's just like I'm really having to move my hand across my mouse pad quite a bit. And when I'm trying really hard, my hand will get sweaty, and it's just really bad for the mouse pad. So wearing this also helps because it's easier to kind of just glide, cloth on cloth. Yeah. So it's just better to like keep my mouse pad cleaner. It doesn't, my hand doesn't get red over a certain amount of time or whatever. It keeps my hands warm. So it's just something that I've kind of been wearing more and more. It looks terrible, and I get all kinds of questions about it. And I think I have a command in my Twitch chat just called hand condoms. And this is what they are. They're the hand condoms. They just keep me protected. So I just, I've been wearing them, and I get a lot of questions about it, and just kind of it like a latent function of these is just, it gets people talking about it in Twitch chat. So it's just a nice, like, talking point. If you don't have anything to talk about, somebody sees this in the thing, they're like, what the hell are you wearing? What is that? So it's just a nice little talking point as well. So
you're going to be setting a trend at some point. You're going to have all your viewers just like, yeah, that's it. Look, you're going to have the Navelow merch on your arms right there, ready to go. Let's go on. Let's do this. Is my lucky charm. I'm going to kick the shit out of everyone.
Sick. That would be nice. That's a good idea.
You could have get some floral ones, nice floral ones, and get like a channel point redemption. Or wear the floral ones.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
Amazing. That's all the questions I had. Have you got anything, Hippo, before we move?
No, to be fair, I think we pretty much filled everything I wanted to know, because I was intrigued by your editing software anyway, because I've just got Sony Vegas myself, and I'm looking at it going, oh my god. So I'm looking forward to delving into that fucker. Because I've been using Filmora for donkeys, so it's just like an easy thing. plug and play.
Mhm.
Bear in mind, I predominantly used to make, before I did Twitch, was World of Warcraft content, lore stuff, and all that kind of bits and bats, and random trivia bits and stuff like that. So it was literally just like segment, and add a fade. It was much easier. But I thought I want to do the slightly more pixelated things and stuff like that, and do the trackings and stuff like that. And Vegas came on. I think he came on Humble Bundle for like ridiculously cheap, which I was like, okay, I'm buying it all. And then I looked at it, I was like, this is scary. There's buttons I don't even know what that does. Where's the exit? Run away, flee! I think I left my desk just like for a day. I was like, I'm never going near it. I can't even get it off my screen. It's staying there. But no, it's interesting to know these kind of things, because I'm a firm believer that putting extra content out there, but even though you got the bigger base in YouTube, the fact that you still go back to that and still update that with fresh content, as well as like, you know, your highlights and bits and bats like that as well, it's really nice to see that you're kind of melding both together, which is nice. But my question for you on that one is, do you find much of your YouTube viewer base going to your Twitch and vice versa, or are they completely separate entities for the most part, do you think?
For the most part, they're separate entities, which is really weird, but it definitely bleeds through here and there. Like, people who comment, like, I'm somebody who's a firm believer, somebody who's a firm believer in trying to respond to literally every single comment that I have ever gotten. Like, if you go back to like my videos I made literally 6 years ago, I can almost guarantee you that I've responded to those comments. I try my best to respond to every single comment that has ever been put on my channel. There's some that I'm going to miss because it's just getting harder and harder as time goes on. But I'm somebody who responds to a lot of different things, and I can see who comments, and I can see who also comes to the Twitch chat. And it's very easy to be able to like connect the dots on like who comes here and who comes here. It's definitely very hard because Twitch and YouTube are very different platforms. Twitch is something you kind of just stream yourself. You get to see all the fails, you get to see all the mess ups, you get to see this, that, and you get to see everything, right? But YouTube is something that you're supposed to be editing. You're supposed to be cutting all that dead space out. You're supposed to do this, that, and the other. So it's very hard to have some people who pretty much only watch YouTube, get them and convince them to come over to my Twitch and be like, hey, I'm streaming. I know you like my content. Maybe you'll like it on Twitch. And I'll have people that come out and be like, hey, I watch your YouTube channel. I really like it. And they'll stay in for like 5-10 minutes and then they'll just leave. And I don't necessarily have a problem with that just because, you know, they watch me on YouTube. I don't necessarily need them to watch me on Twitch as well, just because I know that they're completely different platforms and they're completely different media sources, that it's just like, I can't be mad at somebody who's like, hey, I don't really like Twitch, but I love your YouTube, or vice versa. So I can definitely see and notice the people that come out to both. And I can tell the difference between somebody who just comes out to one and or who comes out to the other. But it's just definitely not an issue. I've been thinking about switching, not necessarily switching, but trying like a week or two or like a trial run of streaming on YouTube to see if that would benefit me in any sort of way. Because I had a friend who's doing that and he's been averaging better numbers, just because he has more of a YouTube base rather than a Twitch base. So that's something that I've wanted to try, but I know that just you can't necessarily convince somebody like, hey, I know you like this. This is completely different from that. You'll love this. Yeah. It's really hard to just like convince them otherwise, you know?
I've also found that there's been I wouldn't say all of them, but there's been quite a decent majority that I've had coming in and going from Twitch that do not like YouTube, which is very strange because I quite like both platforms. It's kind of nice. The more content for me, the better, you know. And to be fair, what I watch on YouTube is completely different to what I would watch on here anyway. Yeah. Because on Twitch, I enjoy having conversations and you know, making dirty jokes at Mellar to make him laugh when he's trying to concentrate at a game and stuff like that. You know, I enjoy the interaction. Whereas if I want to watch YouTube, it's usually like this, it's telling a story or it's like lore details and stuff like that. So I can understand the search parameters are different on that one, which is cool. But it's just kind of shocked me the amount of because I was talking about this. I did my first stream of the year literally on January 1st. And Twitch had a hissy fit, and just like everything was going wrong and breaking. And I think you were there for that, Mels, right?
Yeah, I was about that day.
Yeah, and I just thought this is irritating me because there's so many different things that happen. Little bits here, little bits there, latency issues, all that kind of stuff. So I thought I'm just gonna try YouTube one day and give it a go. And then I had a lot of people going, I'm never going to watch YouTube live. And I'm like, but it's ultimately, I don't think you've got a chat room. You got some random emote things that happen that people like to play with emotes. It's fine. You have a subby thing if you want to do the subby thing. There isn't that much difference for the streaming perspective as a viewer. I don't think it's just literally one's red, one's purple. You know, that's. I've never really understood that. Really.
I don't know. I think there's a lot that Twitch now does provide. It's taken them a long time to get there. But there's a lot that Twitch now provides that a lot of other platforms don't. I think people kind of get make a home in Twitch. Even people that don't stream and just watch, and to then kind of sort of unhome them, unseat them, and say, "Hey, go to YouTube." To do something you wouldn't normally do on YouTube is quite difficult because you'd normally wouldn't watch live content on YouTube, especially if you're a Twitcher, you know. I was just going to say as well, I think the type of, what Navelow was saying, the type of content that you watch and the reason why you watch it, like Twitch compared to YouTube, generally, I think most people watch Twitch for the interaction. Not everyone, obviously. There's loads of people that just sit and lurk to watch the game or the streamer just being a tit, for example. And that's absolutely fine. And that's brilliant. But I think quite a lot of people go to Twitch for the interaction and then they'll go to YouTube for the content, as in, you know, the game that's being played or what the guy's talking about. It's a completely different kind of interaction between the two. I think a lot of people do see them, as you obviously do, as separate entities. And you wouldn't necessarily want to, I think the users don't necessarily want to, cross platform in that way.
Yeah.
Even though we might want them to.
I know Soda Pop, and I'm assuming that you guys both know who he is.
Oh yeah,
massive person. Like he streams on Twitch, and that's basically all he does. And he has a person who literally runs his YouTube channel. Like this, I've heard this story multiple times. This one Twitch viewer came into Soda Pop in the stream and said, "Hey, I love your newest video." Soda Pop was like, "I uploaded." Like he literally does not know anything that goes on with his YouTube channel. He does not pay any mind to it, and he just pays somebody like, "Hey, you upload what you want on that channel of me. I'll give you a split. Call it a day." So it's just, they're completely different entities. I think personally they could work in harmony, but it's like you were saying, it's blue versus red. Yeah. It's kind of like the whole PS4 versus Xbox thing. It's like
we all know it's the Wii.
The Wii, baby.
Say this to FPS streamer.
No, you can do it with a controller. It's fine.
Yeah, Wii Sports was amazing. I can't say, but it's just like I don't understand. I understand where you're coming from. Like, it doesn't make any sense to why a Twitch streamer wouldn't like a YouTube stream. It's obviously there's some minor differences, but at the core of it, it's the same exact thing. Same thing. It's just like PlayStation versus Xbox. You have a controller, you have a console, you're capped at some odd frame rate. You know, there's some differences between the processor, the GPU, or the RAM, or the hard drive. But all in all, at the core, it's the same exact thing. I think it's just more of I'm loyal to this.
It's what you get used to, isn't it?
Coke, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like a Pepsi Coke thing. It's just what you're loyal to. And I agree with what Mellar said. I think it is taking Twitch a unbelievably unfair amount of time to be able to do what they should be doing, all in all. And I think Twitch is just the better streaming platform, period. It's very hard to be discovered on it, and that's just how Twitch is. It's not necessarily Twitch can definitely do different things that they haven't done yet to be able to help with that problem, but it's not it's completely Twitch's fault. There's just so many people streaming. There's more people streaming than there are people watching. Obviously, that's probably not true, but it's just so close that it's just very hard to be able to grow on doing something like that. So I think personally for me, which is a reason why I want to try YouTube streaming, is personally for me, since I have more of a YouTube base, people will get the notification, "Hey, I'm live," and they might come in. So I think personally for me, I might work out better. Who knows? I'll have to try it. But I think it's just definitely a very personal thing.
It'd be kind of interesting to see the comparison data between the two.
Yeah.
Yes,
to see what it's like.
Yeah. I agree with
Let's do
what
it for science. Fuck it.
I
I'll
agree
get
with
the
what
spreadsheet out.
I agree with what Bean Ben said. Sorry, Bean in chat. It's actually something that I think Nave said as well, about how it's almost impossible to actually find live streams on YouTube. It's actually really hard to actually find the content that you want. Whereas at least on Twitch, it's relatively easy to at least find the game that you want to watch.
Yeah, there's a lot more subcategories. Like I know personally with Apex, I don't really venture off with other games, but I know with Apex, you can sort the streams by legends, like by character. So if a certain streamer is playing like Wraith and you really like that legend, right? You can click on a button and Twitch will sort the all the streamers by playing that certain legend. So there's definitely ways to be able to be discovered. It's still very hard, but at least Twitch is like giving it a go. And I agree with what Bean is saying. It's just like YouTube does a very poor job of making Twitch or YouTube streams available. You basically already have to be sub to the person, post notifications on to be able to see that. If you have that, then it's better than Twitch, in my opinion. But if you don't have that, Twitch is just better at discovering people because it just has those abilities that YouTube just has yet to implement.
For sure.
I get that. Plus, I found that with YouTube, you seem to have to make a thumbnail for going live, which is very bizarre.
Oh, yeah.
What is that about? Why can't I just have my pretty face? It's okay, honestly. I don't need anything else. Oh, it just irritates me. Bloody thumbnails. Sorry,
all right.
Rant over.
You've been very ranty today, Hippo. Are you okay?
Yeah, I had a Coke Zero, so I'm pretty hyped on caffeine and hate the world. So it's all good. It's all good.
All right. Well,
I haven't got no Sneak or G Fuel. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is. You need some of that right down your gullet right now. Shall we move on to the second segment? Then we'll just move on to the topic.
Sure.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Well, the topic that we're looking for today is all about seasonal content. So, like we mentioned earlier, this is not just about Halloween streams or Christmas themed streams. It's also about only maybe streaming at certain times of the year, in terms of growth and making the most of your time, I suppose. It's something that I hadn't really considered myself too much, but I'd like to see, first of all, our guest Nave. What's your thoughts on this particular subject?
I think with making content creation, because just overall, whether you stream on Twitch or whether you edit videos on YouTube or just make TikToks or funny Twitter clips or whatever it may be, content creation takes a very long time to be able to do. You can stream for 6 hours and then you'll maybe get like a good 20-minute gameplay. Like the input that you have to put in, the time that you have to put in versus the output that you actually get, the time just doesn't add up. There's so much more input rather than output. So I think working smarter than harder is definitely something that I know I struggled with because I uploaded daily for like 3 years straight and had minimal output. And it was just, I thought I was, I was on the grind. I was doing that. I was doing this. And, I was really going for it. But I just wasn't working smart. I was just working dumb. It was like a dumb, hard thing. And I definitely overlooked it for a very long time. And I still personally overlook it way more than I want to. But at least I'm interested in the whole topic is like seasonal content. Like I know with YouTube, and I've known this for years, it's just like in your October, November, and December months, those pay out more. Like say if you had one video that got 50,000 views and that's all you posted for those 3 months, the last 3 months of a year you'll get paid more than you will for the first 3 months of a year, just because of like the ad revenue and people are willing
everybody's
to give
doing that
more.
sales situation, prepping up for Christmas and all that kind of stuff, so everything gets bolstered up on that, so the pie is bigger to take a piece out of, essentially.
And I have a friend who's in real estate and he averages 80 viewers per stream, I want to say, somewhere around that number. And for, I believe it was October, that's normally like a poor month around that time for him. So that entire month, he just was all about real estate. And then for the next 2 months, he streamed for an ungodly amount of hours on Twitch, and he made so much more money than if he were to stream on October as well. So he just made a lot more money overall than he would just streaming those 3 months. He made more money streaming 2 months than he did if he streamed all 3 months. So he just worked a lot smarter and then not harder. Like he just had his first stream back yesterday, because January was a very poor month, both for Twitch and YouTube, because everybody bought their gifts. Everybody is kind of out of the giving season or like giving mood or whatever, or like gifting like 50 subs or gifting 10 subs or whatever that may be. Usually January is just like a slow month for almost any content creator at that.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just been trying to work smarter and rather than harder.
Okay, so you say he worked 2 months. What did he do with the third month? Did he just take it off, or was he doing other stuff in that time?
No, he for like, say if we're talking about October, November, and December, right? On October, he'll just do real estate. Like that's all he'll do. He won't stream. He won't do anything. He'll just do real estate. And then November and December, then he'll actually stream those 2 months.
I see. And you've been thinking of doing that kind of thing as well yourself, have you? Or
it somewhat in a way like that, because I don't necessarily have a thing that I could do like how he does real estate. I don't have anything necessarily like that.
Yeah.
But I definitely think the months leading up to those final 3 months of a year, you should really be planning ahead. Like you should be in the month September, you should have almost all of your December content already planned out and knowing what you're going to do, just so you kind of have a direction and you know what you want to do with that. And I want to do something like that. Like, so for December, that was my closing year or my closing month for my college classes. So I had my finals and I had, I just really want to finish out my school year strong. I didn't want to slack off. So I really only uploaded like 3 videos or so, and I made like X amount of money. And this month alone, I have uploaded 3 times the amount and getting 3 times the amount of views, but I'm still making that X amount of money that I made just in December so far. So it's
but
just
do you
like,
not find that's like an investment into your future content, because obviously you're getting 3 times the amount of views and all that kind of stuff. You're getting more people in.
Yeah, no, it definitely is still an investment, and that's something that you 100% want to do. It's just more of like you want to be more scheduled and be more interactive with your content during those seasonal months from a business standpoint, because it's very hard to talk to your audience about business standpoints and them not thinking that you're kind of taking advantage of them, because at the end of the day, you need to make money. That is your job, and that's how you provide yourself. So it's very hard to talk business with some of your viewers, and I personally never shied away from that. I don't really care if you don't necessarily respect the whole business aspect of it. That's just you, and I don't necessarily take anything away from that. But I know a lot of my viewer base, they love me talking about the whole business aspect of it, and they like learning about that stuff, and they're very intrigued, because a lot of the people who watch my stuff, they also like make their own stuff. So they'll send me like their videos and say like, hey, can I get your opinions on this? Or how can I change this? How can I make that better? Or how can I make this better? And I'll give them my opinions and tell them like, hey, you should do this, and then reach out to this guy to be able to help you with this, to be able to make it better. So then I just try and give them a lot of advice on what they can do different to be able to like really be efficient with their content.
Yeah.
So you are trying to be as efficient as you can with your own content as well?
Yes, I definitely am. There's a lot of like, so I made this one video where I just recycled a lot of my Twitter content. Like I'll post like a 20 or 30-second Twitter clip to Twitter, and then whenever I get enough clips of that, I'll compile all those Twitter clips into a video, and then I'll post that. And it did unbelievably well. All of my viewer base that follows me on Twitter has already seen it, yet they'll still watch the video on YouTube, even though they've already seen it, just because it's all put together. Like I just posted a video, the best of 2020 of my stuff for like all the how they really plays of all the big personalities within the community, and that video did absolutely amazing. Not only has everybody on my YouTube already seen all of the content, but they wanted to watch that content again in a video form of it all just compiled together of the best of. So it's just about like working smarter and, like I said, not harder. And the same thing with the whole Twitter content. The stuff that I'll post to Twitter is literally the same exact stuff that I will post to TikTok. I personally despise TikTok, but the discoverability on that platform is just outrageous. I personally got angry on how fast I grew on that platform. I'm pissed that I grew that fast. Because in my opinion, that shouldn't be a thing. I posted 3 damn TikToks, and I got more views than I did in an entire month, or the entire like 2 years that I did YouTube. Wow. That's unfathomable. It's just so unbelievably easy. I don't want to say easy because I've kind of know what to do and what direction to be able to grow and how to do it. So I just kind of applied those properties over to TikTok, and it worked out. I know that it's not necessarily crazy easy to, you post a thing and instant famous or whatever on that platform. That's not what I'm trying to say. But if you know kind of how to, in general, kind of grow your content, TikTok is just an amazing platform that if you post things that people would want to watch, it will farm and it will do absolutely amazing. I've had people come from TikTok to my YouTube or come to my Twitch and say, hey, I love your TikToks. And it's just 20-second clips that will take me like 20 minutes to be able to edit and put together and then post and everything. Like the whole process for a day is only going to take me 20 minutes, and I'll get the same kind of exposure that I would for like a 6-hour stream or something like that. So the discoverability on that platform is just unbelievable.
That's crazy.
And you're telling me I don't have to do any dances, right?
No dances.
That's good, because once I start shaking, the body doesn't stop rocking. It's terrible. It's like a Mexican wave that keeps going. It's terrible. So I've got to be wary.
You can't stop it.
No, you really cannot.
So it's just basically working smarter, isn't it, Navelow? I think people do like to see best ofs, especially if they kind of feel like they had a hand in the original content as well. And they're like, I was there, kind of thing, So I think that is a great idea. I like sort of working smarter. How do you feel about sort of seasonal in terms of Halloween and Christmas and this kind of thing as well? What are your thoughts on that kind of content and seasonal content?
It's a great idea because there's a lot of people who, like, I'm sure you guys are both streamers. I'm sure that there's been people like when Halloween is coming around, hey, can you play a scary game with the lights off or something like that? Can you play that? It's just something that people would want to see, like the whole, and this is something that took, again, me a very long time because I've never had like somebody who's kind of overlooked me and kind of like, hey, you should do this or guided me. So I've had a lot of trial and error. I've done it for like 7 years. And it's just, you got to make content that people want to see. Even if it's not something that you necessarily want to do, it's just, you have to know what people want to watch. Obviously, there's going to be a couple people who would want to watch this or would want to watch that. But if you want to really reach the masses, you really need to create content that people would want to see. And I personally hate scary games, but when it comes to Halloween, I'll play those scary games because I know people would want to see them. And if they're having fun, I'm having fun. Even though I'm not necessarily enjoying the game, the reason I stream to Twitch is for that interaction. It goes both ways for the viewer and the streamer. So even if I'm not necessarily enjoying the game, if the chat is having fun and they're like interacting and whatnot, I'm having fun. So it's just, I think seasonal content, even to the degree of like, doing a Christmas stream or doing a Halloween stream, it's very good. Like I said, the guy who does a lot of real estate, he's very animated and whatnot. Like he wore, I forget what it was, like a Mario mask while playing the game at like the highest level. And then he made a YouTube video out of it, posted it to YouTube. Not only did his, and then he also posted of that gameplay. He posted like a small little snippet clip to Twitter. So he streamed with the mask on Twitch, and he got a gameplay. He posted that gameplay to YouTube, and then a small little snippet clip he posted to Twitter. So he really only streamed and did that, and he got a really good stream out of it. Really interactive, really fun. And then he also got a YouTube gameplay out of it. And then he also got a Twitch clip out of it. And I'm pretty sure he uploaded that Twitter clip to TikTok as well. So it's just, he worked very smart. And he's very good at multitasking while not even multitasking, if that makes sense. Like if you can make YouTube content on your Twitch stream, you don't have to take that extra time to be able to make that YouTube comment or that YouTube content outside of streaming. If you can do it on stream, then clip it and then upload it, it's just working a lot smarter. And he's done that for Christmas streams, he's done it for charity streams, birthday streams, Halloween, Easter. He's done it for all the different kind of like seasonal kind of holidays.
Amazing. All right. Have you got anything more to say on that particular subject, Nave?
Not necessarily. I think just the really big takeaway is like knowing what months are good, what months are bad, knowing how to work smart and when to, I don't want to say when to motivate yourself because you need to be motivated year round, but really to hone in and kind of drive the nail in on certain months and knowing what to do, how to do it, and just knowing how to do it and when to do it, I guess.
Awesome.
See, I love the whole seasonal thing because I tend to shake it up a little bit more. So, for example, on Valentine's Day, because I'm single, I play a horror game, preferably one where I kill things, which is a good thing to do. Right on Halloween period, it kind of irritates me a little bit that everyone plays like the same kind of game. Like it's either going to be Outlast or it's like Dead by Daylight or something like that. A big horror-y kind of game. But I tried to find something that's a little bit more niche. Like I enjoyed what's it called, like Little Nightmares or something like that. And it was it's a little bit more indie, but it had that kind of ambiance of scariness and stuff like that. The ambiance, yes. I'm going for the continental viewers out there. All right, leave me alone. But like I try to not go for Dead by Daylight is a lot of fun and and all that kind of stuff, but everybody seems to want to do that kind of stuff, so I'm still happy to make myself shit myself quite often. That's not a problem, Halloween. I'm happy to do that. I have plenty of spare underwear, so it's okay. But I like finding games that people don't know about and don't know the jumps and don't know the scary bits and the ominous bits and stuff like that. I quite enjoy. So we have a shared experience of, oh fuck, that just come out at me kind of thing, and it was it's fun to find those things. But like I'm a huge believer in that kind of stuff. So I enjoy doing the Christmas stuff as well. Again, with the Christmas stuff, I try to find stuff like playing. I don't know if you remember this, Nave, because I'm like 40 years older than you. It feels like anyway, because you're young and youthful and full of life, and I'm decaying at 34 and feel like I'm 90. But I used to play this. I used to have a floppy disk, right, that I got from school, and it was really cool. And on the floppy disk was Elf Bowling, which is one of the best games I ever played. And it literally was flinging elves down a bowling alley on a floppy disk game, and it was pixelated as hell, and it was. But I've played that on a Christmas stream and it was great. And then you do like these viscera cleanup things with like Santa and all that kind of stuff and make jovial things. It's not all about eating fucking candy canes and shit like that, all right? It's fucking up the elves. But I love doing stuff like that. Just trying to make a slight twist on these kind of things. I also do a Christmas in July because it's my birthday in July and I like Christmas and I like presents and shiny things. So I do a Christmas in July. But what we tend to do is have a big party and it's like a club scene and stuff like that. It's really cool. But I'll decorate up for just one day, and it's all good and have a bit of a laugh. And people come in and go, "What the fuck is this about? Why are you doing Christmas? I hate Christmas!" And I'm like, "Shut up! It's fun. It's shiny, and you get presents." That's why I do like giveaways and stuff like that as well, just to do things. But it's I think it's good to do the seasonal thing, but it's definitely worth trying to create your own spin on it as such, because there's a lot of generic out there. I said there's a lot of Dead by Daylight and all that kind of stuff, which is it's a very fun game. But like when that Phasmophobia thing came out recently and everybody was all about that, and I was looking at it going, God no, because they're going to make me want to play that. And luckily they didn't. They actually made me play it in December, which was glorious. So it's okay. I got to experience it after the craze. But I think that's kind of cool. When the craze dies down on something, then it's people can come in and enjoy it at their own pace and their own leisure and stuff like that. It's not all like huge hype. It's like more like nostalgia, almost, but like a short-term nostalgia. So I like doing that kind of stuff as well. But yeah, I'm a huge believer in the seasonal stuff, as much as some people absolutely hate it, which I find baffling. Why wouldn't you want to enjoy yourself? I enjoy streaming. I enjoy chatting to people and making people laugh and have a good time, and sometimes do weird dance moves and stuff like that. It's what it is. But Yeah, seasonal's really good, and I like the idea in terms of the YouTube content, in terms of like the January, February times, which is the lowest, because a lot of people may not know that the pie is smaller because not many people are buying things because they spend it all at Christmas, where all the ad revenue goes anyway and stuff like that. So it kind of makes sense. But I still think it's good to. I was thinking about it for myself, right? Because I used to go over a steady thing of doing a video a week, regardless, in the olden days before I started doing Twitch, and I was still thinking I was thinking maybe not doing January or something like that, but I don't know whether it's worth shortening the amount of content you do, because you could take it as your own personal. Because as a content creator, generally, if you're full time, it's very difficult to get your own vacation time as such. You can't really do the generic, I'm going to take the Christmas period off, because people are at home watching the Christmas period stuff.
Yep.
So I noticed that some people tend to do, for example, I watch a lot of Minecraft because I'm sad and actually 12-year-old inside, so I noticed that they tend to back up content and do random bits and then plonk them on a slightly slower schedule, but it's at least it's forwardly uploaded, so all they have to do is wait for the timer to go off and it pings and it's there for people to watch. So it keeps people entertained, but you still have that period off. I think that's a good way to look at it. But then I mean, could you maybe do highlights of the year for 2021 from 2020 or something like that? You could look at because you do highlights of a certain segment of the week or of the month and stuff like that. Could you not maybe do segments on that and go, these are the best things, and really use that recycled content that we were on about earlier about working smarter? So that could kind of fill up at least 1 week of some content for your January, where obviously it feels slightly degrading that you're putting content out and not getting anything back from it as such. Is the best way I can put it. You're doing it for more for the viewers than for your own content and profit. So recycling content, doing the best bits, kind of maybe do a commentary on it, a little slap yourself in the corner and go, well, this is when I fucked the shit out of this guy using this gun. It was amazing. I zip lined down. It was awesome. I just, and then, you give your own little spin and highlights, your ultimate highlights of the year. And that's just a week content. I just wonder if that's maybe a good way to look into helping with the drier months as such, where it's not as hard worky for a smarter work as well.
Yeah, no, I think the word recycle content has a very bad connotation to it.
Yeah, it does.
It's just yes, recycled content, if it's recycled too much, is a very bad thing, because it just looks like you're trying to get money. It just looks like you're lazy. It just looks like you're completely out of ideas. But if it's done right, you don't mind it, and the viewers, most importantly, want to see it. It's a win all around, and there's no badness to it. If it does well, your viewers like it, and it's just a really easy video for you to do, then there should be absolutely zero reason to be able to do it. And I also like how you said that you play a scary game like Christmas. If you can make it, I think it's more of less of a play a scary game during Halloween kind of thing, more like this is an event, you know what I mean? It's kind of this is a carnival happening at this time of the year kind of thing, where it's I know the offline TV house, which is Pokimane, Disgusted Toast, all of them, they just played Among Us, which isn't necessarily a scary game, but they were able to make it different from just a regular Among Us game or something like that. So definitely just trying to, or even checking out usually games nowadays have an in-game event where it's check out this Christmas tree at this portion of the map or something like that. Checking out those seasonal things within the game, that could even be an event that you can do during Halloween or Christmas. So it's just a matter of making, like you said, making the seasonal content it's kind of own thing, and making an event.
Yeah.
Well, I think myself, I was just thinking about a whole working smart thing, right, that you were sort of talking about, and making certain content at certain times of the year, right? I was just thinking, because that's more for the kind of streamer that wants to be famous, right? That wants to make something out of it, wants to make money. For the more casual streamer, you don't really need to do any of that stuff. You're streaming to a community that you've built already. A lot of people are happy just doing that. So in terms of actually doing certain things at certain times of year, and then not streaming at other times, for example, like you said, this guy that you said worked smart and did. Was it you said he did the rest of the year? some sort of property thing?
He just real estate.
Real estate. Yeah, exactly. That works really well for him because essentially he's in it for the money, right?
For the most part, yeah, that is the business aspect of his ideas. Yeah.
And your business acumen is great, but a lot of people aren't really into it for that. Like,
I agree. Yeah.
If you are, like the whole thing about the grind is never good. Like no matter what, because if you feel like you're grinding, then you're probably not having that much fun, right? And the grind never works. It never works for anyone. It's just a waste of time. You should either be having fun or you should be working smart, right?
Yep.
One or the other, or preferably both, right? So the grind. If you're in it for the grind, leave. Stop. You're only hurting yourself.
There's nothing wrong with a little bit of grinding, though, man.
A little bit of grinding, yeah.
A little bit of grinding's good, yeah.
Yeah, and you sort of mentioned about the distinction between working smart and recycled content. There's definitely
I couldn't think of a better word for recycled content, to be fair. And
Yeah.
I know it's just I hate using that myself because I like, for example, with my channel, I like to use as fresh as I possibly can. But I can't think of another word for recycle other than reuse, which is very similar to recycle.
It's basically the same word.
There's no winning about it.
There's definitely a line in the sand which is probably too easy to walk past. But I think that a lot of people in the kind of in the kind of section of Twitch where you haven't got a massive community, like that kind of recycled content is not going to work because you need the audience first before actually putting out to all of these things. Because ultimately, if you do a Twitch channel and no one's watching, and then you submit that to, I don't know, like Twitter, like you say, like clips to Twitter, and there's no one watching that, what's the point? You know what I mean? In the end, you just everyone's putting too much content out onto all these platforms, and we'll just end up drowning in content that nobody wants to watch. So I don't think working smart necessarily is a good idea in what you're in the way that you're talking about, Navelow. Like straight off the bat, I think you need to have like a jumping off point. You need to start and get a bit of a community together before you start doing those kind of things.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just going to come across as really, I don't know, like
Pompous and arrogant to a degree because
Yeah,
you think
arrogant,
it's worth
yeah.
doing it. Yeah.
insincere.
Yeah.
Right.
All right,
Yeah,
big
like
word.
the
That's
first the first 3 years was the first 3 years like I said, I was on that grind,
Yeah.
and that was fun to me. That was fun.
If
It
it's
was
fun,
just-
then don't stop. But
Yeah, that was what was fun to me, and I honestly at the time thought that was good at the same time. And not only did I think that it was good for me, but I just had fun with it.
Yeah.
But now knowing that it just wasn't, worth my time to be able to do that, I don't take it back, because like you said, I think at the beginning of everything, you need to just have fun with it.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of like at what point do you need to start working smart if you actually want to take it
yeah,
to the next level. So for the first 3 years, I just had fun with it.
Yeah.
And I just had a bunch of people who just watched me because of me. It didn't matter what game I was playing.
Yeah.
It was just because like I was genuinely having a fun time,
Yeah.
putting in all that work, playing all these different games and creating all the content. So I agree with what you're saying. I think a lot of different things when it comes to content creation. There's, I had friends in high school who were just like, oh dude, I'm going to create my own YouTube channel, get millions of views. It's not as simple as just, creating a video and then it blowing up. You have to, it's very situational. Like with what you said, Mellar, like you kind of just play the game for fun and create the content off of the basis of just having fun with your community. And that's good for you because that works for you. And then what may work for you may not work for me, and what may work for me may not work for you.
Exactly.
Just because for the lone fact of it just being a very situational kind of like career option.
At the end of the day,
Like-
if you're having fun, then have as much fun as you can.
Yeah,
But as soon as it stops
100%.
being fun, it's time to change, I think.
Yeah.
For sure. Or stop. But yeah, so it's never really something like I said at the beginning, it's not something I'd ever considered because it doesn't make sense to me. Like I stream for fun. Why would I just stop having fun for a couple of months of the year? Like it doesn't make sense to me. But if you're not necessarily, if you're more, trying to get that business acumen. And for the record, I do think that if you want to make it big, unless you're incredibly lucky, like sort of winning the lottery kind of lucky, you need to apply this kind of business acumen most likely.
Yeah.
Then it's really not required to really think into. And even then, like, it's not something you need to think about straight away. Like really, really small streamers, you just have fun with it. And then once you start getting a community together, then maybe start thinking about it if that's what you want to do. With regards to like Halloween and Christmas and stuff, I never really liked the idea, just purely because it's what everyone else is doing. It's kind of similar to what Hairy Hippo is saying. I think Hairy Hippo actually takes it a step further, like in a good direction, in that you do the thing, but you do it at the wrong time. I just don't do the thing. I'm
bonus content, baby. Is what I am.
Yeah, I've never really liked horror games, so I won't play them. So it comes around to Halloween time. I'm not going to change what I'm doing just because it's Halloween time. I like watching the occasional Halloween stream, but the problem is it's Halloween, so everyone's doing it.
Yeah.
Right. So
I personally, sorry, go ahead.
It's all right. Go on.
I was just gonna say, with everything that I did say about the whole seasonal content with like streaming a horror game at Halloween time, I personally don't even follow that. So I agree with your standpoint on that. I personally don't even do that, just because I like making my content very, I don't want to say diverse, because that means like, I play this game and that game, but I like it making it more unique is the best way to explain it. It's just like, I don't like doing what everybody else is doing, because then you're just going to blend in and be like another number, another Twitch account. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I very much agree with what you're saying, where it's just like, if you can make seasonal content not at the right time, but at the right way, and making it very unique to yourself, and making it like, again, it's just, I think seasonal content is the best way to explain the topic of what we're talking about. But the best way to explain like what we're actually trying to discuss is like making different things like an event at a certain time. Just making it very eventful is the best way to explain how I kind of feel about the whole subject matter.
Yeah, absolutely.
I kind of feel it's also like a supply and demand thing as well for me. Because, for example, I've been asked quite a few times to play Among Us, which I look at it and go, yeah, that looks a blast, but I ain't going to play it yet because it's such a huge fad at the moment. I don't want to be lost in it. I'm waiting a couple of months down the line when people are going, okay, let's go to the next fad, and I'm going to go on it. And then people who wanted to play it be like, oh, yes, I can play with Hippo. Not saying I'm like some kind of demigod here or anything like that, but it's, when you've got a connection with someone, you just like really want to play with them. It kind of gets that vibe as well, which is nice, because then I can give them something as well as receive a good time as well. It's guaranteed to be good content for me personally to enjoy.
Make them wait for it, right?
Yeah, make them wait for it. That's it. I'll give them a dirty tease look and say, I'm coming for you soon. You could be sus when you want, babe. No. But that's kind of the thing. That's the plan for me, is like I don't really do popular stuff at the time, which is kind of like a detriment to myself, because it limits my time to be able to play it. But I really enjoyed playing Phasmophobia after everyone else got really into it, because they carried me the fuck out of it, which was gorgeous. So I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm like, just do this. But I enjoyed it more because they know what they're doing. They feel like they're technically in control, and it makes them feel good as well. And overall, the ambiance, the feel of it all is fantastic. You know, and that makes it heartwarming for me, and it's nice to give something back to the community that they want. Yeah, eventually.
Similar thing to you. That's probably one of the reasons why I almost never play a game that's newer than 5 years old. So I'm like, I'll play it when I'm ready.
To be fair, I've seen you play Zelda games, and that's definitely a horror game when you're playing it. So I mean, love you, Mel.
All right.
Yeah, go for it.
But no, but yeah, with regards to seasonal content and like Halloween stuff, I don't like that kind of content. Like making, I don't like horror games, so I generally won't play them. There aren't really that many sort of Christmas games, to be honest. So I don't really see the point. I'm just like, I'll play essentially what I want to play, and we'll just sort of go with it. I did a Halloween stream once, and it was literally because at the time I streamed every Thursday, and it happened to be that Thursday was Halloween, like the actual night of Halloween. and everyone in the chat the week before was like, do a Halloween stream. I was like, you know what? Fuck it, fine, I'll do it. And I shit myself. Obviously not literally, but yeah, I mean, there's quite a few clips on Twitch of me like basically screaming. You get the idea. And I think I lasted about 2 hours and a half. I was like, I think I had enough. You know, they had fun. I'm not sure. I mean, it was fun, but it's the kind of thing that I'd only do once, I think. But I think just playing like a horror game at Halloween, it's not necessarily a great idea in terms of like growth. I mean, obviously, if you want to do it and it makes you happy and it's fun, then do it. But if you're just doing it for like the views, I don't think it's necessarily a great idea because, like I say, everyone's doing it at that kind of time of year. So in actual fact, you're doing the opposite of what you want to do because suddenly you're streaming to what's the word? A category that has a lot of people streaming to it.
Mhm.
And then suddenly you're right at the bottom of that category and no one's going to find you, right?
Yeah.
And the only people that are going to enjoy it, not even necessarily your community, just the people in your community that asked you to do it. And how long are they going to stay? You never know. So it's kind of detrimental. What I think is a good idea, which is actually something I myself have never really done, is to play, like, again, for example, in Halloween, a non-Halloween game, but give it a Halloween twist. Because then you're doing the Halloween thing, but you're not necessarily playing a game that's going to be in a category that's going to tank you. That's one of the reasons why I quite liked what they did with Mod Loader in Ocarina of Time randomizers for both Halloween and Christmas. It's still Ocarina of Time. The game is exactly the same, but they made it look Halloweeny. They made it look Christmassy at the right time, and they made it so you couldn't make it look like that except at that particular time. So people would watch it because it's Christmassy. That's the kind of thing that you want. Or if you're going to play a game that doesn't do that, then you obviously have to bring the Christmas. For example, like maybe wear a hat, make a channel point redemption or something that makes it Christmassy. I don't know. You get what I mean, though. I think that is a much better way than just on Halloween playing a Halloween game, like a horror game, and then nothing more than that. You've added nothing. You've added no value to that other than the fact that you're playing a horror game that everyone else is doing. So, in terms of actually playing seasonal content, like seasonal games, I think you need to think about it. I mean, like I say, at the same time, if you like horror games and you want to play horror games, then knock yourself out, do that. But if what you're looking to do is to, you know, put yourself ahead or whatever, then, you know, just doing that, just playing a horror game, it's not going to help you, like, at all.
I agree.
I think that's really it. I mean, I really like your idea, Hippo, of like actually doing the event but doing it at a different time. I think that's genius because you get the best of both worlds then, because you still have the Halloween stream, but you do it at a time when, like Christmas in July, you do it at a time when people actually might be sort of craving a little bit of Christmas content, because, you know, it's been a whole 7 months since Christmas.
Yeah, I'm still singing Christmas songs now, and I'll probably still sing Christmas songs in May, June, July. I just have that habit, you know. So it's kind of, yeah, I'm destined to become Santa Claus. As simple as that. I'm going to get my beard long enough to do it. It's getting grey in it now, so I'm mid-30 Santa, you know. So it's all good. But I just think it's a nice, unique thing. And, you know, sometimes we'll throw in a random, like I think September we've done a New Year's Eve party. Just randomly do a New Year's Eve party.
It's genius. That's brilliant.
You know, label it as this. It's just an excuse to have a good time. Have a couple of drinks if that's your jam. Okay. You know, back in the days when we were able to play music, it was all right to play music, you know, and have a good time. And just chat. It was just a virtual party, and I like doing that. You know, it's a bit difficult now having Harris Heller in the background, having, you know, his stream beats going off, because people don't know the words to the stream beat stuff yet. It's still early, but with the amount of people using it, it's
none of the stream beat stuff that I've ever used has any words.
Nah, you're not using the electronic stuff then. You're using lo-fi.
Lo-fi mostly, yeah. I like the lo-fi stuff.
The electronics one's got some lyrics in there. They dabble with some lyrics. There's a little bit of sprinklage there. Yeah. Yeah. And I find myself occasionally singing it. I'm like, what the hell is that song? Fucking Aracella. But I still, you know, you put on a genre of copyright-free music or royalty-free music, whatever, and then have a good time, because at the end of the day, you're still going to have a dance as a dance. And I'm going to, you know, pan out my camera and dance in the middle of my room like a twat, because that's what I do. You know, I still give away keys in Christmas in July because it's the time to give. it's just having an excuse to do something different and have a laugh.
You can dance if you want to. You can
Yeah.
leave your friends behind.
Oh, really? You're throwing me some lyrics, are you? Man without a hat.
If they dance, then they don't dance, then they're no friends of mine.
Oh God, please.
I see Navelow's just like sitting there. I don't think you get the reference, do you? No, it's a bit. It's before your time, darling.
Baby. Yeah. Respect the old music.
I just feel like us two are grandpas now. Hello, Navelow, first-person shooter player. I don't play those games; they're too young for me.
Oh my
Safety
God.
dancey Moon knows what I'm talking about. Hello, Moon.
Oh my God, I feel so old.
Yeah, me too. I think shall we move on to the sub game then? Did you think it's time? Have we all said what we want to say about the topic?
Yeah, I'm gravy.
Beautiful. Right. So, if you're listening and listening only, now is the time that you want to maybe look towards the screen, because we're about to play the sub game, which is basically we watch some clips. We're going to watch some Twitch clips. And we're going to basically there's 9 clips of 3 different streamers, so 3 clips each. And after we've watched them, we're going to decide which streamer we would sub to, which we would follow, and which one we would just leave. We would dip. Nice. Right. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll watch the first 3 clips, and then we'll just discuss the streamer a little bit about what we think. But we won't say whether we follow, sub, or dip until the very end, until we've watched all 9 clips.
Doki doki.
Okay. Are you ready with clip 1, guys?
Yep.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I mean yes.
3, 2, 1. Play that clip.
Alright, well, they're busy. They're busy, let's do this. Alright. It vibrates.
It vibrates. If it makes a vibrating noise on contact, that's amazing. Sorry, this is so not my scene. I apologize profusely.
This ain't a scene. It's a goddamn arms race. I can't.
Oh my God!
Now I've started doing doing song lyrics. I can't stop.
Okay, right. Sorry. I'm focused now. But what game was that, by the way?
I have no idea. Nave, do you know what game that was?
Yeah, Cyberpunk.
Do you know what? I'm just going to throw random images at you and say, "What game is this?"
Oh wait, hold on. Was that really Cyberpunk?
Yeah, Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. Well,
see, I'm not going to play that for another year and a half yet till it dies off. You see.
Right. So we move on to the second clip.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Okay,
Ready?
brilliant. 3, 2, 1. Play that clip.
Watch out this. Right there. You see him? The right side a bit. 160. 190. Left side.
I can't.
Wait, what happened there? That was weird.
Did you get a network error like I did?
Yeah. Twitch? Right, I think we might need to watch that clip again. Should we, can we go back to the beginning of that clip?
Sure.
Okay, and
Refreshing the page.
watch in 3, 2, 1. Play that clip.
Watch out this. Right there. You see him? The right side a bit. 160. 190. Left side.
I can't see him. I can't see him. On my screen, I cannot see him. Right side.
I just you put the crosshair on top of him.
Cannot see him on my screen.
They're not the same team.
The guy was shooting at him.
Okay. That was really weird for me because someone on the Discord in that clip sounded just like you, Hippo.
It wasn't me.
I was like, is Hippo talking?
It wasn't me. I promise. You know it would be me because I'd be around at the start still like hitting people with a frying pan, so it's all good.
All right, clip number 3 then. You ready?
Yes.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Play that clip.
Guy's in the smoke, I think, somewhere.
Oh, I'm totally refreshing as we go to the next one now, just to make sure it doesn't blow up.
Nice.
Pushing,
Nice.
one pushing left side.
Nice.
Nice. It was alright.
Dude might be chilling in the smoke up here.
Not that
He was able to shoot me through it. So. Dang old damn steam nades. Yeah, he's right close to me. 2 of them. 2 of them.
Can't help.
No, it's okay.
There's 3 of them then.
Yeah.
You should be shooting them though right now because they're stuck out in the wide open.
Left. Behind that bus.
One in the open.
Nade.
He's at the bus.
Guy. Nice.
Very nice.
Nice.
All right. Have we watched that?
Mm-hmm.
Behind that bus.
Oh my lord, that's so loud. Right. So without saying whether you would follow, sub, or dip, Nave, what did you think of that streamer?
The first clip was definitely an indicator of what I would be seeing in the next 2. I personally like him. He seems really funny and like he has a good sense of humor. He seems very good at PUBG. He's a part of TSM, which is definitely one of my favorite orgs. I've had a lot of like good interaction with TSM members, so
You can't keep that in mind though. Surely it's not on the clip.
I like I said, I think he just has a really good like sense of humor.
Yeah.
And he plays with a bunch of people that I've talked to and I just really like. So I think he's just like he'd be like a bro, like a friend of yours, you know? He just seems like somebody that you would have fun with in this chat.
Yeah. Well,
It's
then,
nice to see he's very communicative as well to his colleagues as well. Because me, I'd just be like, they're over there. Where? I don't know. It's over there. I don't know how they noticed these people as well. Like the guy was standing right next to the bus, and like I ain't got a clue he was even there. It's ridiculous. I have so terrible.
Well, I experienced something that I'm not very used to because I don't play these kind of games. But the fire came out of only one ear. That's probably how they knew where he was. It's directional. You can literally hear where they are. That blows my mind. Frankly, that's something I'm not used to. But yeah, what did you think of that streamer, Hippo?
Seems pretty sound. Like obviously he had me at dildo. That really destroyed me, and I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Bet it
and then
did.
he did. Well, I've had bigger. Anyway, but the second clip kind of confused me because if we're basing it on clip content and stuff like that, I just was like, "Hello, okay." I mean, I understand that they were under fire and it was near the end of the match and all that kind of stuff, and they were kind of, but it was just like I don't see why it was overly clip worthy. But then I only clip stupid stuff. As for the third one, yeah, that's cool. I enjoyed that. You know, he's just you can see that he's dotting them out, and he's like he's proper on it, like which is awesome. So it's nice to see that he's got a craft and he's very good at it. You know,
yeah.
The confusing thing is I don't know. I haven't checked the dates on these, but obviously I tend to go through like a different like overlay change once a year kind of thing, and he's definitely gone from. You can see what looks like there's a transition between the first one and the third one from where he's progressed.
Yeah.
And then in the second one, he's like, no cam day, which is completely understandable. I go through plenty of no cam days because sometimes I just don't want to be underneath a heat lamp of doom that's above me right now.
Yeah.
But it's kind of nice to see. Like, I don't know, maybe he's just like, it's something he became a recent TSM guy and that's why he's now got the badge up and stuff like that because I can't really see it in the first one. So it just seems to be like I see he's got a TSM shop on the first one, but there's no like around his frame and stuff like that. So it's nice that he's wearing his badge of honor as such like that, being part of that team and that kind of stuff, which is nice to see the transition and become all encompassing within his overlay. Even his overlay is kind of minimalistic, which is cool.
Yeah.
But no, I liked him. He's all right. He's all right.
I did.
I mean, I'd rather watch Nave to show me how to shoot shit. But
me too. I did like his overlay actually. In all 3 clips, it's quite nice. It's relatively minimal, like you say. I also say in the third clip, he's either standing or he's got really good posture, which is nice.
I suck with posture.
But I mean, what you say about having no cam? Not having no cam is fine, but you got to talk. You got to make up for having no cam, which you do. He's not. He's not talking. In
Yeah,
fact,
that's because I talk like nobody's there. I still sing to myself randomly, and I do it off stream as well as on stream.
Yeah.
It's just me being weird because I am.
but he didn't talk to the stream at all in any of those clips, really. I mean, the first clip was brilliant, actually. I think he might have been talking to the stream now, although he might have been talking on Discord. But yeah, especially in the third clip, so much opportunity to like react, no reaction. And when he did speak, it was so loud compared to everything else in the stream. But yeah, I don't really have more to say, actually. I like his microphone. It's all good. Yeah, and the actual like gameplay, he killed a lot of people in that third clip. He seems to know what he's doing, which is always good. Yeah. All right, shall we move on to the next clip then?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So when you're ready, 3, 2, 1, play that clip.
Like, I see people have to cheat in Overwatch.
None of me?
Bro, why do you need aimbot? Just play Moira.
None of me.
Why do you need aimbot? Just play Moira, dude.
We should report it.
This fucking game gives you aimbot for free. And you still have to use programs.
I get it. I didn't get it the first time. Someone's using an aimbot and he's having a go at them. All right, should we watch the second clip from that streamer?
Sure.
All right, 3, 2, 1, play that clip.
Hold on, do this. Don't worry about it. We win next game. Don't worry. Don't worry about it, bro. You win the next game, bro. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Put like forgiving levers.
Don't worry, bro. Bro, don't worry about it. We win next game.
What?
Don't worry about it.
Hold on. Why are we holding on? What?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You're looking.
Okay, I'm getting head pads. Let's go, dude. I'm gonna get boo so you can get boo head pads, okay?
Give me, wait. Give me fist, bro. Give me, dude, no. Oh my god. Yes. Yes, I can give the cat headpads. Oh my god, dude. This is perfect. Holy shit. Dude.
Now that was content. All right. So the third clip of that streamer, you ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, play that clip.
I have nanobus. Like, Widow Mecha is killing everybody. Dude, who's this Widow Mecha? She's crazy.
Nice. All right.
Crazy.
So, Nave, again, without saying whether you'd follow sub or dip, what did you think of that streamer?
Why do you need aimbot? Just play Moira.
I really liked the second clip. I thought it was really hysterical. The third one, I mean, I understand why somebody clipped it. It was just I just don't understand why it was necessarily like a good clip. I guess it's just like somebody's killing him. I guess you're supposed to die in that game, you know. So it's just kind of like why would you clip it? The first one, it was funny. He was just talking about Moira and how she kind of already has aimbot, and then somebody's using aimbot already. So it's just he's funny. I really like his comedy as well.
Yeah,
but I just don't really understand the third clip. I don't understand why that would be necessarily clipped.
Right. Okay. What about you, Hippo?
I have a question for Nave on this one, actually.
Yep.
Clip 1 is, I know he's emphasizing like the fact that it's an aimbot situation with the whole just having the camera on the mouse thing, but I've actually noticed streamers actually do that where they've got like a second camera on their mouse, which I find really weird. Is that just to prove they're clicking?
I mean, it's like the no cam thing where it's like if you're mechanically gifted in a game, like, and you don't necessarily have to be like entertaining or anything. If you're just mechanically gifted, people will watch you. And honestly, the people who watch those types of streamers who are just mechanically gifted, they prefer like a hand cam because they like seeing you like, you know, have your mouse
doing the
like,
whole thing.
Yeah, they like watching that. So it's just like if you're really mechanically good at a game, some people actually prefer that over like a face cam or like a no cam or anything like that. So he's probably just really, I mean, he's in the first clip, it said that he's ranked 240 in the entire world. So, I mean, he has to be good at Overwatch. So.
Yeah, that's pretty damn awesome. Yeah, no, I think he's funny. I really enjoyed the kitty clip. That was genius, and the patting his mate on the head thing and all that kind of stuff. That was really cool.
Yeah.
It kind of threw me back to when I used to do a lot of streams with Bob the Canadian guy, and we both had green screens, so we kind of like amalgamated our 2 green screens together as such that we were really close to each other and do random stuff. It was awesome times. I liked how he was playing around with his mate there. That was kind of cool. And then the third one is the third one. Although I did notice he is a G Fuel boy, so sorry, Sneak.
Damn you!
But I gotta say, like, I kind of like the lighting in the third one. Like, it's just like it's low gradient and it's just kind of subtle, and it kind of brings him out more, which is kind of surprising because a lot of people just like, lights everywhere.
Yeah,
but
like
he's just kind of got this chill. Yeah,
I'm a bit too like bright here, to be honest.
But he's kind of like got this kind of real chill feel about it. I know he just got killed and stuff, but at the same time, he's got this that how he's got his setup. It just feels very chill.
Yeah.
So he seems to give off that vibe that even though he's like shooting the shit out of everyone, he's very chill and just has a laugh, which is cool.
Yeah,
I like that.
Absolutely. I quite like I like these clips. I like the fact that they're all quite different. I really like his overlay. Overall, it's like super minimal, but not too much so. And like you say, like quite like the lighting. If he was just a tiny bit more light on him, because it is, maybe I need to. It may be a tiny bit dark, but it doesn't need much. It looks really nice. I love the fact that something different is happening in all of these clips. I get mouse and keyboard cams. I understand why, but I really hate it when there's only a mouse and keyboard cam. There should be a face cam as well. I think it kind of defeats a bit of an object there. I don't know. I don't like that. But at least he obviously does like some and some. I just think that maybe both would be even better. I really like the second clip. That's amazing. That's just pure comedy. It's very funny.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, overall, I really like his setup. I don't really like the game that he's playing, as we discussed earlier, but that's okay. He's definitely entertaining without the game, and he clearly talking to chat as well.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll move on to the last of the 3 streamers. Okay. So let me know when you're ready, guys.
Always.
Yep.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Play that clip.
The artwork. Oh, right. And there's also that other thing where you can choose what characters you want on your home screen. I think that also comes along with this update. It might be this update. It might be the update after it. Whitebeard banner and maybe some kind of generic only certain class select Sugurfest. That's what I would expect. Yeah, I think there's a pretty good chance that the Pirate Rumble Whitebeard drops after the maintenance. I guess we'll see.
Just before we move on to the next clip, Navelow, did you recognise that overlay at all?
I've had that overlay.
Yeah, so's Nave.
And what just irritated the hell out of me is he's got the gap in the middle at the bottom, and I'm like, oh my god, why have you done that? That's not how I had mine. I've still got it saved. I still have it saved. My 2018 overlay. God, we got a lot in common.
You had that one, didn't you, Nave? That's the one you used to use.
Yeah, I still use it.
Do you still use it?
Oh, bless you.
Still use it.
Oh, no
Well,
way.
I only use the alerts. I don't use the overlays. I just use the alerts from that pack.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, we'll move on to the next one. All right, 3, 2, 1, play that clip.
I'm happy with that. Honestly, I'm pretty content with these teams. The only thing that we will need to remember is this is going to be version 1 lore at the start until Zoro gets maxed, and that we need to put Kanjuro support on Okiku. And then with all that being said, it should be relatively smooth sailing.
I think Nightwings knows what's going on, but does Navelow, Hippo, do you know what the hell's going on in that clip?
Not a clue.
I'm
not a clue.
Navelow? It's something to do with One Piece, the anime.
Isn't that a
Seems
swim
like
outfit?
Seems like
I wear a One Piece.
Card trading game or something. I couldn't tell
What's
you.
the mobile game?
Like you said, I just know it's One Piece. That's all.
Oh, okay. Although Maury actually makes a fair point there, like move your cam or take your hat off. But fair enough. I don't disagree.
Crap. I have to because I'm bold.
Talking about the streamer, mate. Don't calm down. All right, let's last clip. Okay, hold on, I should probably refresh it, shouldn't I? All right, 3, 2, 1. Play that clip.
And defense up as well. Oh, dude, what is this team? And then Frankie for defense, Otama for healing. What do you do? Guard rate up, critical percent down, and then on the back you've got dude. This team is disgusting. Nah, I'm not even gonna touch it. Like, even if there is even if it's like, you know, it's an easy win. Nah, I'm not even gonna risk it, bro. As I said, I don't take risky matches. There's that team again.
All right, have we all watched that?
Mm-hmm. I'm so lost.
I'm so with Maury on this actually. But Navelow, what do you think of that streamer?
I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, me either, to be honest.
There's an anime lady with big boobs now, so that's kind of a win, I guess.
I mean, that's a plus, but
yeah.
I don't know what's going on other than that.
What are your takeaways from just the clips that we saw?
I mean, the third guy, Toad, I mean, he definitely interacts with chat the most. So, I mean, if that's what you're kind of looking for, then he'd probably be your best bet. But other than that, I have no idea I have no idea what the game necessarily is, other than just like what it's based off of. That's all. Yeah,
fair enough.
I really like the overlay, though. And the alert package.
Fair enough. I mean, Hippo, what are your thoughts overall on the streamer?
Again, yeah, completely agree. Very interactive with his chat, which is cool. Seems very knowledgeable, or giving off the vibe of knowledgeable of that game in particular. Don't really like the... Okay, so I can understand the hat thing, but the hat and the hoodie thing, I just going like 8 Mile here with that one. You know, it's very I want to be Eminem, you know, or some kind of thug rapper.
At the end of the day, Hippo, you do only get one shot and one opportunity.
Oh, don't even do it. Don't do it with your mama spaghetti, all right? Shut up. But I don't know. Like, there's things that look. I from last year was a green screen, and now no longer green screen because I want to have my geeky stuff behind me. Right. That's my emphasis of what I'd like as my backdrop. What he's got is the room with a couple of like scarves and a third of his PC hanging off the side. And yes, it's blue. Congratulations. I don't. It's like there's not been much effort put in. Like, you know that someone in this like three-way conversation really likes G Fuel. You know what I mean? There's effort put into the backdrop as such. You know? Yeah. Everything you're seeing in the camera needs to be. You know, I'm just glad I haven't got my dirty cum sock at the back or anything like that. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying, because that's normally hanging off the light behind me. But there's no effort with the backdrop. It's like, oh, I'm just going to turn my camera on and we're just going to play a mobile game. See, there's a Zelda thing. You can point out as much as you want. But yes, that's that. But then you can also see like there's a bit of rubbish there. He's got like half his laundry on those little wooden tables and stuff like that. It's just kind of like, yeah, fuck it, you know.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna turn this on. I try to keep pride. That's why the camera's at this level. If you saw below this level, you would see clothes everywhere and everything, right? But eyesight for me, if you're using a camera, everything is important. You know, every aspect. Even those like size 30 shoes behind Navelow right now, which are absolutely insanely long and amazing. I can only imagine how big you are in the bedroom, but that doesn't matter. I promise I'm straight. That's not the point, except for when it comes to virtue. But and Mellar. And there's other exceptions.
And Bueno.
Anyway, I'm trying for a point. Yeah, and Bueno, yeah. But he's Australian. You've got to have an Australian in your list, you know what I mean?
I've got two.
There's no... The key thing is, like, there's a fan on the floor. There's bits and bats here. And there's just, like, there's no background presentation as such, which kind of irritates me to a degree. I'm proud of all the shit that's behind me. I'm sure you guys are proud of your green screen and obviously your setup behind you of all your bits and bats like that. You know, when you've got your green screen set up to have it set up as the green screen, you love having your fiery bits and being immersed into the game. It's proud in your appearance, not just in yourself.
Yeah,
Eminem,
absolutely.
but in the background as well. And there's no real effort there for that one.
I think.
And with the last bit, with having the game in the middle, which I always hate portrait mode in anything, to be fair, which I know he has to do because it's a game on a mobile. But all that stuff around it,
Yeah.
Like you got treasure cruise bottom left, and there's some stings going at the bottom underneath your sting, right? And it's very busy on the eyes. And I'm like, I wasn't sure if the right stuff was part of the game. And he's put his chat on top of it, or if it's. And then I realized it's a mobile game in the middle.
Yeah.
There's other. Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, I said this before about sort of presentation when you're streaming of what's in the background, right? You don't have to put much effort in, to be honest, for it to be okay. But what a little bugbear of mine, and it's such a small little thing, is people that stream in their bedroom and don't make the freaking bed before the stream.
That's why the camera's this angle.
It's such a small thing, but if the bed's going to be in the frame, freaking make it. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's just such a small little thing, but it's... I don't know. It's just a little bit of a bugbear of mine, because it indicates lack of care, almost lack of respect to a certain degree for your viewers, because they have to sit there and look at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this kind of has a little bit of that. It's not too bad. I like, as Maury said, the Zelda poster. I'm loving the Zelda poster right there. I actually didn't notice it until Maury pointed it out, so thank you for that. Also think with regards to
Zelda was a dude anyway, wasn't it?
What?
Isn't Zelda the dude?
Don't start.
It's classic, man. You know it, but it still irritates you regardless.
Yeah. The overlay is an interesting one, because actually I think that he's probably done the best that he could, because it's a mobile game, so it has to be portrait. So yeah, I mean, his overlay is horrible, to be honest. I don't like it. But I think he's probably done the best he can with what he's got. I think it's definitely a mistake wearing the hat, just purely because, as was pointed out, in order to play the game, especially the mobile game, you have to look down, and wearing the hat just really exacerbates the fact that you're cutting yourself off from chat by looking at the game. Again, like, I think he's really doing the best that he can with what he's got, because streaming a mobile game cannot be easy. So respect to the guy for sure. But I also think definitely just get rid of the hat. You don't need it, and it is actually, like, it's one of the few times where it's causing a barrier. It's actually making the stream slightly worse by having it. But I really like his chat interactivity. To be honest, I think actually if this guy was doing like a just chatting stream, I'd quite like to probably pop in. It'd probably be quite interesting, because I feel like I'd get a reaction from him. I'd have a chat with him, like a meaningful conversation. My only caveat would be that because I don't know anything really about anime, so if they started talking about that, I'd just be like, okay, well, you know. So yeah, I mean, I see what you guys are saying. I don't disagree, but I think this guy's actually doing quite a good job with what he's got. So I think it is time for the hammer to fall. So, Navelow, which one of those three streamers would you sub? Which one would you follow? And which one would you dip?
I would dip on the last guy named Toad, just because I personally watch streams for probably the game with the personality. Some people watch just the personality and don't care about the game. So I'm somebody who cares about what you're playing. And I don't even know what he's playing after even watching the 3 clips. I just know it's One Piece. So I would have to dip on him. And in between TSM Aimer and KJ, hopefully I'm saying his name right. I would probably sub to KJ, which is the Overwatch guy, just because, like you were saying, I really like his overlay. It's super clean. He has a good sense of humor. He's very good at the game. He's part of Sword Gaming, which is another really good org, and I personally like him as a person. And TSM Aimer, I would still watch him. I just wouldn't necessarily sub to him, because I know I wouldn't be in his stream all too much. But I would definitely follow him, because again, sense of humor is good, and he seems to be very good at PUBG as well. Okay,
so I just want to clarify: you would follow the first one, sub to the second one, and dip from the third one.
Correct.
Okay, fantastic. Hippo?
Do you know what? I'm pretty much exactly the same. I'm pretty sure it's pretty easy for that as a decision. I mean, if you didn't have that third guy in there and had someone of similar stuff, then it may be a bit of a competition, but it's really not for that. So I'm unfortunately gonna have to dip it. Not only do I not understand it, it's very busy on my eyes and stuff like that. It'd be a case of like I'd rather chat with him off stream than on stream.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Yeah,
you know, he seems like a guy that seems a very like opinionated without in the negative context. He seems to know a fair amount of what he's talking about and wants to talk about it, which is cool. But I wouldn't want to see that on stream. It'd be more like, you know, I'm having the chat and, you know, would you tell me about this? And it'd be kind of interesting, but I wouldn't really watch that. And to be fair, that was a lot on my eyes and I'm still burning at the retinas at the moment.
It is a lot on your eyes.
The follow guy, which is obviously the first one, yeah, definitely. He seems informative in terms of what he knows how to play his game and stuff like that. So I think he'd be one I would follow just to watch and maybe learn some tips and tricks on the odd occasion. Like, you know, see what he does to do things. Maybe go back on his clips at like somebody saying epic, like 360 no scopey thing. Blah.
Yeah,
that's a thing, right? 360 no scope. Yeah. Okay. Yes, I know the lingo. And then obviously the subbing with the Overwatch guy, he's funny. He seems to be chill in pretty much all of his contacts and stuff like that. Even when he was having the rant about the aimbot thing, he seems pretty chill.
Yeah,
for the most part, and making a mockery of it. Super clean, just enjoyable to watch. Yeah, he's worth my $5.
Yeah, fair enough. That's brilliant. I definitely agree with the sub for sure. Out of the three, he definitely seemed to. Like, he had the cleanest overlay. He seemed to provide the most entertaining content. For sure, definitely for me. Even though he was playing Overwatch, which, like I said earlier, is normally a game I would not touch with a barge pole. I disagree thereafter. I think I would just about follow third guy, although I have no idea what's going on. I feel like I might be able to have some sort of meaningful conversation with him, maybe about something other than what he's actually doing, because I have no idea. I'm really not into anime, so none of this means anything to me. I did enjoy the first guy. He definitely has promise. I really liked that first clip. I thought it was really funny.
Sorry, when you said he had promise, and I just saw the dildo come up, and I'm like, yes, he definitely has promise.
Very promising, yeah. But on balance, out of the three, I think he'd probably get my dip. Right, I said dip, hairy hippo.
Sorry,
dip.
I'm sorry. I can't help it. I'm so sorry. No, for first impression, I'm just a pervert. Just throwing it out there now.
You see, we all know this already, but Nave, poor old Nave, is sitting there. He's like, I probably should have put this at the beginning, but I probably should just mention that the clips that are chosen are their top clip in the last 30 days. 90 days? Their top clip of all time, and then something nearby their top clip of all time, generally speaking. That's how the clips are chosen, and then who's chosen. I basically get like a bracket of like how many viewers, and it's how many viewers they have watching them at the time that I am on, checking, like collecting the clips. So they all have roughly the same viewership at the time that I collected the clips. So that's why these people and these clips have been chosen, just so you all know. And that's how I do it every week.
Dart at a board and hoping for the best.
Yeah, it's not completely random. I sort of choose a category and a and a bracket of viewership, and then it's random thereafter. All right,
that was totally ruined Christmas for me. You just so you told me that Santa isn't real. I totally thought it was random.
Well, have I got news for you now? I think that's pretty much that's a wrap. We've pretty much done everything. Just before we finish, we have actually slightly gone over. I can't believe how quickly that 2 hours went, if I'm honest with you. How do you feel that went, Nave? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it actually went really well.
Yeah, definitely.
I still can't stop staring at his headphones that keep changing color.
Oh, you're I didn't notice this before until literally today, but your chair keeps changing color.
My chair's RGB, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't help it.
You guys need to get together.
Yes, your headphones and my chair should make
fully
love
RGB
and make an Uber,
up.
baby.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me. Thank you, Navelow, for being our first guest. I really wanted Nave to be the first guest, especially as I've interviewed you before, Nave. So thank you so much for agreeing to it and coming in and actually sitting, listening to us blabber on for 2 hours. It's really been Absolute joy. No, it's really been a pleasure. Thank you so much, seriously. And Hippo, thank you just for being you and being amazing and being an amazing co-host. I really do appreciate it. I feel like it's gone really well for a first episode. Expect more of this, ladies, gentlemen, and the jury, I guess. So we're going to be doing a live one of these every month. So the next one, obviously, it's January now. Next one's going to be in February. Exact date is to be confirmed. So if you want to know more, then join my Discord. If I could spell Discord, that's how you spell Discord, Mellar. If you're watching on YouTube, the link will be below. You can go to the rules channel and do like a reaction, and it adds you to the Chattisfying role, which means that you actually get like notifications when we're going live, when the next episode's going to be, and also when they're uploaded to YouTube. I'll obviously upload the whole edited VOD, so you can sit and watch the whole thing if you want, but I'll also upload the like highlights in a separate playlist for you guys, for people who only want to watch certain bits. So that's all pretty exciting. And yeah, I'll keep an eye on Discord for the next episode. I'll be announcing who it's going to be, when it's going to be, and what the topic's going to be, all up on there in the next couple of weeks.
And Nave, we're going to be dragging you back in like a year's time to see how your progress is going to become the ultimate shooter. Yeah,
I'll be here.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, don't forget us when you're up there in the heavens of content creation. You know?
I'm not going to get there. I'll try, but I'm not getting there.
We believe in you.
No, man. I've been watching your videos, man. I've been watching a couple of them. They've been quite cool. I'm thoroughly enjoying. I'm not one that normally watches that kind of stuff, but you make it enjoyable. So I can see that you've definitely got some form of future in this, and it's really nice to see it, as well as your efficiency and your focusing in your real life and all that kind of stuff as well. It's cool that you're just enjoying everything about it. So
yeah,
it's nice to watch that.
I love that you're approaching everything so like smart as well. Like you're really thinking about things, and it was quite apparent in the previous time that I interviewed you, like how much thought had been you'd put into, even if it didn't end up actually happening. You put a lot of thought into what you were going to do. You had like contingencies and all this kind of thing. Like if this doesn't work, I'll do this, and like you had it all sorted out, man. Like your plan was really solid, and it still is. I think it's really good. That you clearly know what you're doing and sort of how to apply yourself. So keep at it, dude.
Appreciate it.
Excellent. Well, stick around, everyone, because we are going to be essentially continuing. We're going to be streaming after this, but we're just going to go on to a splash screen and then an ending soon screen. But keep about, and we'll see you guys next time. Like and subscribe on YouTube. You have to put that in. You have to.
You do.
You have to, because you're not a content creator if you don't put that in. Yeah.
Do we still have to do the PewDiePie and T-Series thing as well? Because I don't know if that's still a thing. Is that still going on?
What's that?
I'm so out of date. PewDiePie and T-Series.
Oh, I don't. I have no idea what that means.
Oh God. Am I making these things up? I don't even know. Where am I? This is way past my bedtime. I need to go to bed and virtue it up.
Follow all the people that you see here on Twitch. We all stream. And obviously more of this Chattisfying coming next month. But seriously, guys, thank you so much for joining, everyone, all of our lovely viewers. I really hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you next time.
See you later, guys.
Bye-bye.
Chattisfying.